Okay, now we're ready. I'm going to start this with a texting. So why La Bamba? All right, first before I do that, I'm going to say that tonight is Friday evenings, and I'm doing my Friday evenings songs from my childhood in order to gin up interest into a song that I wrote that I'm going to debut maybe late May and then debut again on the 14th of June. So this song, and also I'm going to debut the first song. Well, I'm thinking about that. So anyway, this song came out La Bamba came out in like 1958 and it was sung by Ritchi Valens, who was born in Pacoima, Los Angeles, California. His parents were born in Mexico. Ritchi Valens adapted a Mexican folk song into a rock and roll hit. I learned this song because I loved its words. I was drawn to its Christian imagery, the need to dance in life. In order to dance well, you need grace. Whenever I heard that, it would make me think of God's grace. And in the next lines, I am the captain, not just a seaman in my life, meant to me I had some measure of control over my life. I worked this out by myself and found out later that essentially that was what the song meant. And I learned many years later that this song was a particular type of folk song in Mexico that people would improvise lyrics to speak to the events or issues of their day. Always the same melody, but they would have different events. In the 90s, when Clinton and the Mexican elites were selling the NAFTA treaty, I was honored to meet the women of Oaxaca, Mexico, who came to protest NAFTA at Evergreen State College, where I was a student. Amongst the women at great risk, a son of one of them had accompanied her to speak out against NAFTA. The Native Americans who were against NAFTA had sponsored her and her colleagues. The son taught me a more authentic version of the folk song, and I haven't played that version in a long time. In fact, I forgot it, actually. It's a rhythm thing, but I used to practice my still poor Spanish, making up lyrics with it long after they had gone. In the 1940s, initiated on the 4th of August, 1942, the United States signed the Mexican Farm Labor Agreement with Mexico to replace the American men farmers who went off to fight in World War II against the Axis powers. The Mexican farmers were promised 30 cents an hour, a guaranteed portion of that being put into private bank savings account in Mexico, and they were not to be discriminated against. They were to have sanitary and safe environments to work in. When this program ended, they had it be for teenagers, and like the Mexicans, they were still bad sanitary conditions. So it wasn't the reason why people didn't want to work the agriculture was because the farm people didn't, whether they were Americans, white, black, or whatever, they treated them very badly. So it wasn't just a race thing, it was pretty much an attitude thing. So anyway, here's this song, La Bamba, which I kind of know by heart, so I'm just going to sing it. Oh, no, that's not how it goes. Arabella La Bamba, Arabella La Bamba, necesito una poco la gracia, una poca la gracia, arriba, arriba, por ti seré, podcast, La Bamba. Good night and see you next Friday.